Discover the secrets of likability from Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction, divided into captivating stories of charming figures and practical techniques. Our 35 video episodes explore these methods for becoming irresistible. In episode 6, learn about the coquette, a powerful archetype adept at manipulating desire for various ends. The strength of the coquette lies in 3 key things that feed a totally spellbinding, obsession-causing cycle. The hot and cold pattern that changes. At its core, the coquette charmer uses a pattern that changes between heating up their target's desire with gestures of warmth, only to then suddenly cool things off by taking away attention, acting distant, mild anger, or looking sad. This alluring cycle relies on tricks like flirty hints promising future closeness before becoming cold and rejecting, flattering charm, emotional openness, and making the target feel prized, followed by standoffish lack of interest. Public approval and rapport building that suddenly shifts to ignoring the target or appearing slightly down, moody. Small gifts, tokens of affection or shared stories that create a love-bombing closeness, which quickly fades. Brief physical affection, for example light touch on the arm, only to then reject any increase. Each cold shift is calculated to play on insecurities, stoking confusion and self-doubt in the target about their value, worth to the coquette. The distancing move makes urgency to regain favor and prove desirability. And as soon as those reassurance-seeking efforts start, the coquette brings warmth back once more. Adding spice, the coquette may use manipulative sadness by pretending emotional hurt, crocodile tears, or napkin-biting bouts of distress over situations the target supposedly created. This uses guilt to make the target pursue the coquette's reacceptance. It's heating up by feeling regretful for cooling things off. Experienced coquettes make these hot, cold floods seem entirely spontaneous through perfect acting. In reality, every move is carefully choreographed, with periods of intense warmth alternating with stretches of distancing, aloofness, and subtle rejections. This pattern breeds potent romantic and intellectual obsession in the target. This cycle of pleasure and frustration quickly becomes almost addictive, as the target's vanity drives them to repeat the pleasurable feeling of heating things back up. A feeling of self-absorbed self-importance. Part of what gives the coquette's distancing moves their seductive power is the implication that the emotional roller coaster comes from a place of supreme self-confidence and self-sufficiency. The coquette always projects an unshakable feeling of not needing the target's approval or entertaining any doubts about their own worth. Key aspects of this self-important self-absorption include supreme self-possession and calm poise, no matter the coquette's distancing moves. Talking about themselves at length, but showing only conditional interest in learning about the target. Appearing totally self-entertained and satisfied by a solitary activity, like studying themselves in a mirror. Moving in an unhurried, casual, unneedy way, implying the target is the pursuer. Making it clear they have multiple romantic prospects aside from the target. This dismissive self-confidence plays on deep psychological forces in the target. It reminds them unconsciously of the joyful, blissful self-containment and carelessness they knew as an infant before learning emotional dependence on others. It triggers envy at witnessing someone they find attractive, interesting, be so completely okay, defying their pursuit and saying no. It implies there is an unparalleled self-love the coquette possesses that the target should covet gaining for themselves. The unshakable self-absorption of the coquette becomes seductive through the unanswered question it raises. What makes this person so content going their own way without me? Making obsessive jealousy and rivalry. The coquette charmer is a masterful user of triangulation to stir obsessive jealousy in their targets. By artfully introducing potential or hinted at rivals into the dynamic, they cause entropy in the target's feelings and position. Key triangulation and jealousy-making tactics include deliberate split focus, dividing attention between the target and someone else present, anonymous gifting, or excessive sharing of intimate information with friends the target doesn't know. Public recognition or flirtatious body linguistic rapport with a newfound third character. In group situations, appearing to take special interest in one member of the audience team while glazing over others. Introducing conversations or hypothetical scenarios involving an intimate ex or old flame. Each introduction of even hinted at rivalry causes the target's unconscious mind to prompt deep worries about loss and being overshadowed. If I don't prove my worth, someone else will take the position of importance to the coquette. All this time investing in them will be lost if someone new comes along. Failing to impress will mean someone else reaps all the benefits of their power/intimacy/favor. The coquette's mentioning or actions around third characters implants jealous self-doubt in the target about being replaced or overpassed. In groups, the effect is heightened as social rankings get reshuffled unpredictably through the coquette's passing favoritism. Once jealousy takes root, it creates an obsessive, heated desire to reattain the privileged position of being the sole capturer of the coquette's interest. This constancy of heated pursuit plays directly into the coquette's alternating hot-cold cycle as they establish firmer control. Breaking the obsessive trance. The combination of tantalizing hot-cold moves, supreme self-confidence, and jealousy-inducing triangulation make the coquette an entrancing, formidable, seductive force. Once their cyclical pattern takes root, it becomes extremely difficult to break free from the trance of pursuing their affection. The best defense is 1. Recognizing and calmly calling out the hot-cold ploys for what they are as soon as the pattern starts repeating. This robs them of seductive power. 2. Maintaining your own self-confidence and emotional composure regardless of whether the coquette shifts attention and plays hot or cold. Their detachment only works by knocking you off balance. 3. If used as part of a sustained seduction, considering temporarily firing the coquette by withdrawing your efforts and focused pursuit for a while. This can help reset the dynamic. 4. In environments where the coquette introduces rivalry through triangulation, refuse to be thrown off by their spreading of favoritism. Stay centered on your own self-worth. Some scenarios. In a romantic context, go on a few amazing dates, making your interest extremely apparent, then become distant and unresponsive for a week or two. When they finally pursue you again, be warm briefly before pulling back once more. What could happen? This hot and cold behavior will likely make them anxious about losing you and whether you've lost interest. The insecurity will make them try even harder to regain your validation and affection. They'll become obsessed with re-securing your favor. In the workplace, publicly praise and highlight an employee's contributions at a team meeting. The next day, dismissively criticize their work in front of others. A week later, sing their praises again. What could happen? The mixed signals and fleeting favor will prompt them to work harder to keep in your good graces. The fear of falling out of your approval will spur an intense desire to impress you again. On social media, post photos, content that generate a lot of thirsty likes, comments. Then suddenly go silent on all your accounts for 2-3 weeks, ignoring the attention. Eventually return with more enticing posts. What could happen? Your audience will be confused by your hot and cold availability. But the absence will build anticipation and make them eagerly await your next post to reciprocate the attention you first showed them. The recurring pattern is generating intense desire and interest initially, only to become self-sufficient and withholding. This inconsistency creates insecurity, making your targets desperately pursue the intimacy and favor you first dangled before pulling it away. Their obsessive efforts to regain your affection is exactly what cements your power over them. Ultimately, the coquette aims to become the unwitting center of your world by exploiting your insecurities and making you constantly chase their fleeting attentions. Once you recognize the cycle for what it is, you take back the power. while gaining insight into how you might use those same seductive tactics yourself. Now, something important. Make it a daily habit to learn something truly beneficial that enhances your life. Remember, the content you feed your mind is like nourishment for your brain. Be deliberate in your choices. Otherwise, be wary. Algorithms are often crafted to manipulate your thoughts. Reflect on that. Now, we're excited to announce that we're now welcoming contributions through subscriptions to aid our upcoming projects and bring you exceptional content. Join us by subscribing today.